Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving, got to spend time with your friends and family. We had some spectacular weather down here for Thanksgiving weekend, which is extremely rare. So I hope everybody got to get out there and enjoy it. Really good fishing. I fished Thanksgiving Day. I fished all Thanksgiving week. Fished all sorts of weather. This time of year, I really love to fish the patch reefs. So if you're calling me for a charter, you have to be flexible to fish with me on the patch reefs this time of year because it is what it is with the weather. And the fishing inside the patch reefs can be really good if you really put in the time and do your homework on how to fish them. So there's a really good podcast I put together a few years ago. I think it's been 2 years now on patch reef fishing. So you'll need to go back through and listen to that. But I just want to, I'm just going to go over a few important points about patch reef fishing. Number one, the patches, in my opinion, fish the best on days when it's really rough. That's just been my experience. Days when the north wind's cranking, the northeast wind's cranking out there, 15, 20 mile an hour winds, the patches are fired up. It's just how it works. I don't have a lot of luck patch reef fishing when it's calm. And I've caught some of my biggest mutton snappers in on the patch reefs. I was going back through pictures the other day of some of the patch reef mutton snappers that we've caught over the years. Just awesome fish. We catch big African pompanos in on the patches in shallow. All sorts of stuff, depending on where you're fishing in the Keys. Like further south down towards Tennessee, really good patch reef fishing this time of year. The fish like to migrate out. When you get a hard cold front, the fish get pushed out of Channel 5, Bridge, Channel 2, and it's really good fishing. It's just, that area, those patches down there are good. Down by like Robbie's Marina, Bud and Mary's, a little further south, then you get down to Long Key, you get into some really spectacular patch reef fishing. Beautiful mutton snappers on those patches down there. Fishing pressure's a little less because it's just a little further for folks to go. So something to keep in mind down there. Long Key, like the Long Key Bridge area, really good fishing. Really good. Like if you're coming out of Hawks Cay, that area, spectacular stuff down there. So as far as gearing up for the patch reefs, it's about putting in your time on the patch, okay? And getting yourself anchored correctly with the wind. Take your time to set the anchor. Just know that you have to have a lot of road and a lot of scope to get your hook set. So, to get set on those small spots out there. And my recommendation to you guys, if you're looking to get into patch reef fishing and you only have so much rope, and it's like, I've only got so much rope. I hear this quite often. Like I said, the easiest thing to do is for you guys to go to West Marine or go to a hardware store and buy chain, okay? Buy chain, connect it with links, and just use some connectors and add chain rather than add rope. That's what you need to do for patch reef fishing. That's what you need to do for if you feel that you need to add a little bit more rode to your anchor, add more chain. Okay, it works. So it'll get you stuck quicker. You're going to need a lot of anchor, rode, and chain if you're going to be setting on a patch on a 15 to 20 mile an hour day and you're setting in the sand. And also, too, you got to make sure you have the right sand anchor. That's a whole day, and the weight of your anchor matters a lot. So just keep that in mind. My learnings over the years with anchors and patch reef fishing. So I have a 23-foot boat. And I feel that the anchor, like what they're telling you to use for anchors and the standard measurements are way off, okay, of what you need. So, guys, when I'm going out to fish a patch, I'm using a 26-pound to 30-pound anchor, okay? Sand anchor. So it's fluke style. I'm changing things out when I need to versus going to the reef. So, guys, I'm using like a 26-pound anchor to get set on that sand because I don't want to move. Makes life a lot easier for you when you want to set. and I retrieve it with my windlass with no problem. And you guys I carry an anchor ball as a backup. So, guys, you need to beef up your anchor. Okay, you need to add more chain. Don't add more rope because rope's expensive. So just saying. Okay, so just add more chain. And you're like, oh, 26 pounds is overkill. No, it's not. No, it's not. Trust me. Okay? If you're going to do some patch reef fishing, you need a heavy-ass anchor. You need to invest in one. And you got to do the work when you're switching it out. And, I mean, I have to switch mine out. Patch reef versus going out to the reef, I switch them out because there's no way in hell I'm going to be putting a 26-pound anchor down in a bunch of rock. So I hate getting hung up. It's super annoying, but I would rather get hung up than use a trolling motor. Just saying. So, yeah. So that's my tip for you guys. And also you guys need to go back and listen to the Patch Reef podcast. So a couple key things, like I'm going to say, is number one, you need to put in the time on the Patch Reef. Okay. Ballyhoo, as far as bait goes, that works really good, but I have to tell you, I've been having a lot of luck with tiny little jacks on the patch reefs of late. So the ballyhoo have been a little skittish, and I've just found that I've been like scoring a couple nice big muttons on the ballyhoo. I'm sorry, on those little jacks because they're ferocious. So I just started throwing those out on knocker rigs. As far as the rigs go, you can use like the standard long like the split shot way. I personally don't like that because I feel that that the split shot doesn't do its job. I've never been a fan of that rig, but it works. The standard thing is the knocker rig with the ballyhoo, and sometimes you just can't what's the word for it? I don't fix what's not broke. I mean, I don't like to change. So if I don't feel I need to, and honestly, with the knocker rig and the keys, it's always been the standard, and it's always proven it always kills it for me, the knocker rig. You have to size your weight, little sinkers right, and all that stuff, but you guys can figure that out on your own based on the bait that you're using. Hooks, circle hooks. I like to use big number 8 Gamakatsus with big horse ballyhoo. For big ballyhoo on the patch reefs, for large mutton snappers. So, and also too, one tip that I really would recommend you guys do is get a really long spinning rod, even a surf casting rod. And the surf cast, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but you guys, sometimes those muttons are way the hell back there, so you're going to need to make some really long throws. So a surf casting rod, like a really long surf rod, is going to get you way back there and guys, sometimes that's where they're at. So that's what I recommend. I use a 7-foot spinning rod by Adrenaline, but like I said, the surf rod is the way to go for throwing shit way the hell back there. So, and then do your thing. I like a lot of the anglers like to hold their rods. I don't believe in doing that. I'm sorry, not that. Put their rods in the rod holder. When you put a rod in a rod holder, and by the time that fish grabs it, you're fishing a really rocky area. It's all over with. By then, he's got you pinned up against some sea fans and stuff. So I have my anglers hold the rod, and 9 times out of 10, they want to hold the rods. So when they do, and don't believe all that stuff that they can feel it. It's not the case. Oh my God, I'm reading that they can feel the vibration of your hands and stuff. And no, I've been fishing the patch reefs I started my fishing on the patch reefs, and let's just put it like this: they can't feel your freaking hands. Okay, so if you want to leave it in a rod holder, that's up to you. You're going to miss a lot of fish doing that. Have your angler hold the rod. I like to have the bails open, and that way you can let them. Remember, the mutton snapper has to eat head first. So what he does, he has to have time to turn the bait around and swallow the bait head first. So you have to let him have some time to swallow that bait. And whether, like you said, I've talked about J's versus circles. I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Really, I use both. Like I said, I use big number 8s. I use big circle hooks on the patches. When I get into some small fry ballyhoo and I got scale down hooks, I don't like that. I like to use the biggest hooks I can use. So wide gaps, that's my thing. So I've always used them. It's just, I'm not going to change anytime soon. So again, long ass rod to make that cast way back there into the chum slick, guys. So you have to remember that those and then when you hit the water and you see a big splash of ballyhoo behind them, then you know that's where the mutton snappers are at, because they're in there underneath all those ballyhoo eating them. Also, too, what you can do is you can free line yourself a live ballyhoo. That works really well. You just hook the ballyhoo, and then have him swim. I like to hook mine through the anus and let him swim outwards, and just let him swim out there. I don't like to hook them through the throat, because they swim down. So I want them to swim naturally on the top, because, guys, that's what the mutton snappers are doing. They're ambushing the ballyhoo on the top. So you want to get a live ballyhoo, throw that way out there, and let that bait swim. And the bait will eventually find his way down. So another thing you can do is you can free line the ballyhoo plug. That works really well. Throw the bait a fresh ballyhoo plug, okay? So you need to catch one. If you're not getting the bites on a live, then you'll need to try a plug, and that works extremely well. It'll catch you a couple fish, but I honestly have the best luck with the live ballyhoo. So there's a few pointers. As far as you need fluorocarbon, 30 pound. I'll even back down. If they're not eating on that stuff, I drop down to 20, and that's plenty for muttons in shallow. The bigger muttons you are going to have to beef up, because they'll chafe that 20-pound fluoro pretty easily. But if I'm looking for 5 to 6 pound mutton snappers, that average 20-inch to 23-inch fish, then 20 pounds is perfect for that. So just a few things to point out. Just kind of a hodgepodge of little tips there for patches. And go back and listen to my Patch Reef podcast that I put out there a long time ago. You have to find it. I don't even remember what episode it is. That's all I got here, guys. So I want to thank the guys that purchased the Reef course. I am in the process of creating part 3, and we'll be putting out a couple little. I put out a few extra bonus videos. So part 2 is out now. So I'm still working on part 3. I'm just trying to get some weather when I can get out there. My schedule's extremely busy, like I said, but I'm working on the tip page for special baits and stuff that I use, and then I'll do an on the water presentation as well for part 3, and that'll wrap it up. As I'm creating part 3, I've got some things I'm like, I want to give this to the guys that purchased the course, because I really appreciate it. So that's cool. So I'm doing little stuff like that along the way, little tiny bonuses. I've got a underwater video that I'm going to show you guys as part of it that I didn't talk about, that I was going to put in. I just have to do the voiceover on that to show you guys why certain things I talk about are important. So I think that's all I got. Yeah, you guys have a good week. I'm extremely busy with charters, so I've got to get rolling. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow me on Instagram, goodkarmasportfishing _FL_keys. You can check out my website, goodkarmasportfishing.com. That's it. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.